The final revelation awaits. After 45 chapters of cosmic psychology, we reach the ultimate teaching about how consciousness transforms, why collective wisdom emerges, and what destiny awaits those who embrace the complete work of authentic development. I'm Mark Roach, and welcome back to Transcendent. Today we're examining the concluding chapters 46 through 48 of Gurdjieff's masterwork, where Beelzebub's pedagogical method is fully revealed. Cosmic recognition validates authentic service, and Gurdjieff himself steps forward to explain his life's mission. These final teachings synthesize everything we've explored, while providing the practical foundation for applying this wisdom in contemporary life. The 46th teaching, the science of conscious transformation. Chapter 46 provides Gurdjieff's complete educational theory through Beelzebub's explanation of why he chose storytelling over direct philosophical instruction. This chapter reveals the most sophisticated understanding of how consciousness actually develops, validated by cutting-edge neuroscience research that Gurdjieff anticipated by decades. Hussein's transformation demonstrates the natural result of genuine education. He weeps not from sadness, but from the profound changes occurring in his consciousness. Quote, during the last diagnostic, I actively pondered a great deal, and in all probability, from this unaccustomed, newly tempoed functioning, the general tempo of the functioning of the whole of my common presence has changed. End quote. This isn't an intellectual accumulation, but fundamental reorganization of consciousness itself. Modern neuroscience research validates Beelzebub's pedagogical principles with remarkable precision. Studies on neuroplasticity reveal that consciousness influences brain structure in what researchers call top-down neuroplasticity. The brain literally rewires itself based on conscious attention and sustained mental effort. A 2013 study published in Frontiers in Psychology demonstrates that consciousness activates synaptic flow and changes brain structures through directed attention during both wakefulness and sleep. Beelzebub identifies 4 crucial requirements for authentic transformation. First, active mentation requirement. Abstract principles alone cannot transform consciousness. They must be connected to concrete examples that engage all centers of thinking, feeling, and sensing. Second, gradual development. Conscious development must be prepared step by step, as an attempt to provide advanced knowledge to unprepared consciousness results in mechanical understanding rather than genuine transformation. Third, emotional engagement. Real understanding requires not just intellectual comprehension, but emotional participation in the material being studied. Fourth, personal discovery. The most effective learning occurs when students discover principles for themselves through guided observation rather than passive reception of information. Contemporary research on educational neuroscience confirms these principles completely. A 2024 study in Neuroscience and Biobehavioral Reviews reveals that active learning pedagogies produce better student outcomes because they engage and reinforce learning circuit, associated agency, curiosity, and peer-to-peer social interactions. When working memory becomes overwhelmed, additionally engaging the reinforcement learning circuit improves retention, providing the neurological explanation for why active learning outperforms direct instruction. The sequence Beelzebub employed was carefully structured. Initial engagement through stories about human peculiarities that aroused Hussein's interest and curiosity. Gradual sophistication as each subsequent narrative built upon previous understanding, while introducing more complex topics, emotional investment by focusing on specific individuals and civilizations, all made the teachings personally meaningful rather than abstractly theoretical. Synthetic understanding emerged as the accumulated narratives created comprehensive understanding that no single philosophical exposition could achieve. Brain imaging studies showed that this narrative approach activates multiple neural networks simultaneously. Stories engage the default mode network, which processes self-referential thinking, the salience network, which determines what information deserves attention, and the executive control network, which integrates information across brain regions. This tri-network activation creates the neuroplasticity necessary for the lasting behavioral change. The 47th teaching, Cosmic Recognition and Collective Service. Chapter 47 provides the dramatic climax of the entire work as cosmic forces intervene to restore Beelzebub to his original status. The chapter demonstrates this universal law that authentic service to others and genuine spiritual development inevitably attract recognition and support from higher cosmic forces while revealing the collective nature of all authentic development. The cosmic intervention occurs through the arrival of one of the four great cosmic elogonopathies, spacecraft of all quarters, maintainers of the universe. The elaborate ceremony includes a procession of angels carrying sacred implements, a universal hymn sung by all beings representing the fundamental unity underlying cosmic diversity, sacred proclamation formally announcing Beelzebub's pardon and restoration of his horns, and collective participation as all beings present voluntarily contribute to Beelzebub's restoration. The restoration of Beelzebub's horns requires voluntary sacrifice from everyone present. Each being contributes a portion of their own horns, demonstrating that authentic spiritual achievement involves collective support and mutual service. This reveals several profound principles: the collective responsibility where individual development is supported by the entire community, voluntary service based on love rather than compulsion, proportional contribution where each person gives according to their capacity, and shared benefit where the elevation of one benefits all. Modern research on spiritual development validates these principles through studies of community support and collective wisdom. Research shows that spiritual well-being and social support are significantly associated with higher life satisfaction, better mental and physical health, and increased resilience, even when accounting for demographic factors and childhood adversity. A 2023 study involving 529 caregivers from 11 nations found that specific themes of spirituality were related to different outcome variables. Relationship with spiritual sources was associated with life satisfaction and mental health. Spiritual community support related to physical health. Having higher purpose connected to resilience. The neurological basis involves mirror neuron systems that create empathetic resonance within groups. When communities engage in collective spiritual practices, brain activity synchronizes across individuals, creating what researchers call collective consciousness states characterized by enhanced empathy, reduced ego boundary, and increased prosocial behavior. Studies using fMRI during group meditation show increased activation in areas associated with compassion and decreased activation in regions associated with self-referential thinking. The cosmic justice demonstrated in Beelzebub's restoration reveals that the universe operates according to principles that recognize and reward authentic service. This isn't wishful thinking, but an observation of systemic patterns where genuine contribution to collective welfare eventually receives appropriate recognition and support, though often in forms different from the individual may expect or desire. The 48th teaching, the complete methodology of human transformation. Chapter 48 serves as Gurdjieff's personal testament, providing direct communication about his intentions, methods, and the broader context of his life work. This chapter connects the mythological narrative with the practical application while revealing the three-stage process underlying all authentic transformation: destruction, construction, and building. Gurdjieff explains that Beelzebub's Tales represents only the first of 3 series of books designed to accomplish fundamental tasks. First, destruction, quote, to destroy in people everything which, in their false representations, as it were, exist in reality, end quote. Second, construction, to prepare, quote, a new constructional material, end quote. Third, building, quote, to build a new world, end quote. This 3-stage process represents complete methodology for consciousness transformation that parallels individual psychological development. The biological context reveals crucial information about the circumstances of writing. The work emerged following a severe automobile accident that should have killed Gurdjieff, but instead intensified his spiritual capacities. His body was so battered that he appeared as a bit of live meat in a clean bed, so it said. Yet his spirit was strengthened rather than weakened. This accident, combined with his disappointment with contemporary people, especially those devoted to science, led to heightened determination to complete his mission. Modern research on post-traumatic growth validates this pattern. Studies show that individuals often develop greater psychological resilience, deeper relationships, enhanced appreciation for life, and stronger spiritual connections following major trauma or loss. The neurological basis involves stress-induced neuroplasticity that can either create dysfunction or, when approached consciously, accelerate development beyond previous limitations. Gurdjieff's announcement that the complete dissolution of his Institute for the Harmonious Development of Man reveals crucial principles about authentic spiritual work. Quality over quantity. Authentic spiritual work requires genuine, rather than large numbers of followers. Institutional limitations. Even the best institutional forms cannot survive without individuals capable of embodying their essential purpose. Practical wisdom. Better to dissolve an institution than allow it to continue without authentic leadership. His description of false students who turned out subsequently to have in their essence a predisposition to speedy transformation of their psyche into the psyche called Hasnumericin provides crucial guidance for distinguishing between authentic and false spiritual seeking. These individuals use spiritual teachings for personal advantage rather than genuine development, creating what modern psychology recognizes as a spiritual narcissism or spiritual materialism. Some might call it a cult. Now, the complete integration. The ultimate teaching that these final 3 chapters provide is the complete framework for understanding both the crisis and opportunity facing human consciousness in 2025. Chapter 46 reveals that authentic learning requires active engagement in all aspects of consciousness through carefully structured experiences that promote neuroplasticity. Chapter 47 demonstrates that genuine spiritual service receives cosmic support while requiring collective participation and mutual sacrifice. Chapter 48 connects theoretical understanding with practical application through three-stage methodology of destruction, construction, and building. The neuroscience validating these insights provides hope that individual transformation remains possible despite collective dysfunction. The same neural mechanisms that create vulnerability to manipulation can accelerate positive development when approached with proper understanding and sustained effort. Brain plasticity research shows that consciousness literally shapes neural structure through directed attention and conscious choice. But these chapters also reveal why most spiritual and educational efforts fail. Contemporary approaches often violate the fundamental principles that Gurdjieff identified. They provide abstract information without emotional engagement. They attempt rapid transformation without gradual preparation. They emphasize individual achievement without collective support. They focus on construction without necessary destruction of false beliefs. For individuals navigating the challenges of 2025, these chapters provide both diagnosis and methodology. Recognize that authentic transformation requires destroying false beliefs before building new understanding. Understand that genuine development emerges through collective support and mutual service rather than individual achievement. Most importantly, apply the three-stage process to your own development. Identify what needs to be destroyed in your current way of functioning. Prepare new constructional material through sustained conscious effort. Then build new ways of being that serve both individual development and collective welfare. The contemporary crisis isn't just political, environmental, or technological. It's a crisis of consciousness that can only be addressed through individuals willing to undertake the complete work of authentic transformation. The methodology exists, the understanding is available. The application requires a kind of sustained effort that most people prefer to postpone indefinitely. The neural pathways of transformation have been mapped. The cosmic principles have been revealed. The practical methodology has been provided. The question isn't whether transformation is possible, but whether enough people will choose the difficult path of authentic development over the comfortable illusions that maintain collective unconsciousness. Gurdjieff's final message is both warning and invitation. The future of human consciousness depends on individuals willing to engage in the complete work of destruction, construction, and building that genuine transformation requires. The cosmic forces that support authentic development remain available, but they can only assist those who demonstrate genuine commitment through sustained conscious effort applied in real rather than your imagined problems. Your individual choice is to engage in this work contributes to the larger evolutionary process that determines whether human potential leads to flourishing or collapse. The methodology is complete. The cosmic support's available. The only question remaining is whether you're ready to begin the real work of becoming who you actually are beneath all the conditioning, beneath all the comfortable illusions, beneath all this, the sophisticated unconsciousness that masquerades as development. The choice determines not just your individual destiny, but your participation in the cosmic purposes that genuine consciousness serves. The ultimate teaching is that consciousness itself is the force determining whether we evolve or destroy ourselves. Everything depends on what you choose to do with this understanding. I'm Mark Roach, wishing you all the best.